Today's reading I'm taking from a different Sanaya Roman book. It's called The Joy of Living. Now, Sanaya Roman, to give you a little information, channels a being, one of her teachers, by the name of Oren. And he's a timeless being of light and love. And Oren says, can you imagine how it would feel if your heart were open, if everywhere you went you trusted, were relaxed, and knew the universe was friendly? How would your life flow if you believed that your inner guidance was gentle and kind? And that people were sending you love wherever you went? That you yourself broadcast a beam of love like a circle around you to everyone? How would your life change if everywhere someone said something to you, no matter how it came out, you recognized the love or the need for love behind it?
Excuse me.
You would be constantly looking deeper to knowledge and to recognize the love within each being, as I do. By your recognition of love, you bring it out and you attract it to yourself. So as you go out today, be aware of how you can express love through your eyes, through your smile, through your heart, and even a gentle touch if appropriate. You came to earth as a community, and all of you can send out love on a high, loving feeling, a thought form of love, and offer it to each other. For today, for the rest of today, be in your heart. Experience the love that is you, and as you, be open to receive the acknowledgement of the beautiful light and love within you from others. Pretty good stuff, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, our speaker today is also a vision of joy and love. She is a professor of German language. She is a doctor. She is a minister. She is a teacher here at the Teaching of the Inner Christ. She's a beautiful human being. She's a world traveler and many other things. But she definitely has the authority to speak on her topic today. Please help me welcome, speaking to us on our vision of joy, Reverend Brigitte Heimers.
Thank you, Reverend Marianne. And good morning.
Good morning.
Our vision of joy. Well, I want to tell you I modified my title a little bit by saying my vision of joy, because I can only speak from my point of view. So let me begin with a quote from my favorite pink book, The Dawning of the Age of Light. As you know, the pink books are channeled messages from the present Jesus through a group of adult sensitives known as the Brotherhood of the Followers of the Present Jesus. And this pink book has a whole chapter on joy. So let me quote from page 25 to 26. Jesus says, "Joy begins in the heart of each person. Joy comes when you find in your center the spot which is divine. When you are one with all, your knowing your oneness with God gives you dominion. You rule your own world, and assurance of this brings joy, serenity, peace, and love to your heart. As each one finds this joy, the world will be filled with joy, and joy will be in the hearts of all." The expression of joy is contagious. A genuine smile or an honest burst of laughter can inspire joy in the hearts of everyone nearby, and joy is one of the great rewards of the connection we have with our God self, with others, and with all life. So as we give in joy, we receive joyously. When we share a tender moment with another, watch an inspiring movie, or simply think about the people we love, joy often arises right away. So I invite you to let us make joy our way of life. And I will give you some examples. I have, I think, 8 points. So, the first one, when we awaken in the morning, in the first few minutes of awareness, we can choose joy. The source of joy lies within our understanding that God and we are one. Deep within us are the seeds of love, of joy, of peace and understanding, of happiness, waiting to be nurtured and to blossom. My second point, our emotions and perceptions are like seeds in the garden of our minds. And mindfulness is like cool water. Mindfulness is like cool water. When we water the seeds of love, joy and peace in ourselves, they will grow and flower without struggle or effort. This is one of the simplest and most wonderful of the miracles. My third point, turning within, we discover the great joy of God's gentle presence and the simple pleasures of being one with God. My time in meditation or in the silence of prayer brings me a sense of soul satisfaction, of joy. Joy wells up within me. And when I return to the world around me, I feel my joy radiating. My next point is gratitude. Gratitude cultivates joy. We can give thanks for the blessings in our life, and we can appreciate each person, each animal who is sharing this journey with us. We can acknowledge our experiences with a calm assurance that life is good and joy is the only power, as we sing here at the Teaching of the Inner Christ on Sundays and after every class that we are conducting here. And my next point, positive actions evoke joy. Being friendly and encouraging toward others is one way we nurture the joy within us. I remember joyfully my experiences as a professor of German at the University of San Diego. Of course, as you know, I'm now retired. But I still, 42 years is a long time and you have lots of memories. So one of the classes I taught almost every semester was a straight beginners class in German. Needless to say, I used a lot of friendliness and encouragement to help my students learn their lessons and have fun during the class as well. So when they would leave the class, they left at the end with inner joy and a sense of accomplishment. And that was always my goal, to even the first class, that they heard something about German. Usually some came with some thoughts in their mind, oh, German is a heavy language, it's a difficult language. I tell you, I've studied quite a few languages. Each language is a challenge, let me tell you. My next point is sensory experience can remind us of the joy of being alive. As we cook dinner, we can enjoy the aroma of onions browning in the pan. Do you have these kinds of memories? Or the vegetables simmering? Or we can savor the fragrance from the flowers on the table. These are all wonderful experiences, and they create joy. And my next point is we can tune into the joyful sounds of music. I usually listen to classical music on a CD, or I go to a concert or an opera here and there. And I always have a great deal of joy. My last opera was just last week, Madame Butterfly. Although I must tell you, I only really enjoy the first act, because as it goes along, it ends up in pretty sadness. But such is opera. Most operas have some sadness in them. And my last point, no matter what we are experiencing, when we take time to make contact with the Christ center within us, we feel joy. Christ within us is our spiritual foundation, our pattern of wholeness, and our overflowing joy as we turn within. And here at the teaching, each one who comes to our classes, they receive in our first course not only the vibration of their inner Christ, but they receive also a name. So they have a signal and they have a name. And so they know here from then on, if they work with their Christ self or I am self, they always get confirmation, because they are waiting for their signal to happen when they are asking for certain kinds of questions. In Dawning of the Age of Light, there's page 26. Jesus tells us, quote, "Find joy in your heart so that you can express fully the Spirit within you. Spirit channels best through joy. Even reverence can be accompanied by joy. Remember that seriousness is not piousness. Love determines the depth with which you express spirit, and love and joy begin within yourself. Find love and joy in expressing your identity. Let joy light up your experiences, and feel the lifting as you give them over to your wise God self. We who are many surround you with our love and joy," end of quote. So here's the assurance, that Jesus is always there for us as well. So in other words, let's remember an affirmation we use here at the teaching quite frequently. And that affirmation is short, and you can remember it. I let go and I let God. Would you like to say that? I let go and I let God. So whatever we cannot solve with our mind, with our physical mind and reasoning, we can give over to God. And we know that this power of God within us is constant and unchanging so long as we cultivate trust and faith within us through joyful prayer. In everything we do, so let us remember, joy is the only power. True joy is not something we acquire from outer events or things. It is something we release from within. So therefore, it is important to trust our inner guidance. There's another wonderful passage in the Dawning of the Age of Light, is on page 17 and 18, and I quote, Jesus asks the reader, "Whom do you trust?" Trust, Jesus says, is a precious and subtle element. Above all, trust yourself. For without trusting yourself, how can you trust another? Jesus asks. You do trust yourself, and you do trust God, or you would not even pray. So build this trust. Trust may be a new concept to you. Trust can lift you to new heights of consciousness if you put your faith in God. Let God guide you. Let God take over your life. Let God lift you into an expression which is uniquely yours. Let pure trust lift and guide you to new levels of light, for light is God. This will open a new awareness of your oneness with God, end of quote. So in the privacy of prayer, we cultivate God's power, God's love, God's joy within us as we open our innermost self to God and to all the divine help that is available to us through our inner Christ contact. During these quiet moments, we can release our concerns to God as though we are removing obstacles or weeds of negativity that may impede our growing love, our growing joy, or our growing faith and trust. As was mentioned, I travel, and every year I travel to Europe because my family is in Europe. My husband and I, we have a home in Switzerland, and there's his family. So I love to travel, and the moment I get into the plane, I must tell you, I start my prayer work. My hands go like that when the plane is taking off to make sure, that these tons of weight are really able to lift off the ground. And of course, coming from a family, my dad was a diploma engineer in the airplane industry, so I know a lot about planes, and I marvel every time, I must tell you, how these, flippers go like that, and off you go. But my next prayer is always for the pilot, because the pilot got to know where he's going. Once he's in the air, I marvel how pilots are able to know which direction they have to go in that universe of clouds and of blue sky and sunshine. And then my next prayer is for all the people in the airplane. And I'm usually guided to where there is fear. Some people have a fearful experience when they are in the plane. And my own I am self brings those people to me. So the first hour I'm usually just praying, and then I'm enjoying. So this is how I use my own inner Christ contact and the joy of being able to say prayers in this way. Do you or someone you care about, let's start over. Do you or someone you care about need better health? I suggest sing a joyful song of life and let this song renew your power of love, your power of joy and faith in the presence of God, the presence of divine life within. This divine source of energy and vitality continually nourishes tissues, it strengthens cells, and promotes the healing process. Are we uncertain about a decision we face or a solution to a problem? I suggest, let us allow a joyful song of light to shine in our heart and mind. As we do so, we are affirming our joy, our love, and our faith in our one true guide, our inner Christ, God within. So divine wisdom will counsel us. Divine wisdom will illumine the right path to take and to reveal also right answers to us. And when we truly, are with our own inner Christ, we have no doubts that our prayers are manifesting. Does anybody else have that feeling when you work with your I am self? you have this assurance that once you say your prayers, you don't even have to say it out loud. It is worked upon in the perfect right way. We always in our prayers, when we make our claim, we say or better. So this is something that we do in order to include the wisdom of God that may have a lot more for us than we are presently praying for. So sometimes we receive the or better. Another question, have finances become a concern for anybody? I'd say, let us sing a joyful song of love for God and of praise for the blessings we already have. Sometimes we forget, that we have blessings every day. So our song is a song, again, of joy, it's a song of love and faith that will open our life to new expressions of God's abundance. So when I'm writing checks, either for the teaching or whatever, I always write down below TYWG. You know what that means? Thank you, wonderful God. And sometimes when I write a check at a grocery store or wherever, the cashier will circle that down below. That is always fun to me to watch when they do that. So you give thanks as you write your check because you tune into God's abundance that is never leaving you. And remember to sing a joyful song of peace, especially at this present time where millions of people are longing for peace. Thousands of people are on the move, if you watch the news. And so a song of peace will keep our faith strong and joyfully soothe our heart during challenging times. We can breathe deeply as we relax and let the melody of joy, the melody of love and peace and faith soar throughout our entire being, because the power of God, the power of love and joy is the basis for everything we do. If we do it, even if we clean house, we can have a joyful song on our lips. It goes faster, let me tell you. So indeed, joy is the only power. Joy. The word alone brings a smile to my face. By embracing joy, we can shift our thinking, our mood, and our life. So even when we are feeling sad, we can turn to the spirit within, and we find our joy, which is stronger, which is more powerful than any thought of sadness. And we're going to celebrate Mother's Day. Well, some of us have their mothers beyond. And so it is very important, that we greet our mothers with joy, even though they are not on the earth vibration. But they are with us. I feel my mother all the time. I feel my dad all the time. And that is a joyful experience. So I believe joy is transformative. As we allow it free and full expression through our thoughts, through our words and our actions. Joy fills my heart as I hold the hand of a loved one in need, for instance. Seeing past any human flaws and frailties, I behold their true essence, and our connection is life-affirming and joy-filled. So in conclusion, I hope I have convinced you that joy is a powerful tool to be used every day. Thank you.
Well, now we have the opportunity to share them out